thank you for joining us. I hope you had a wonderful weekend and you're taking care of yourselves and your families in these challenging times. We are going to start remote instruction on Wednesday. And so I wanted to reach out to you to offer my support and also to clarify any questions that you may have when you do lesson planning. And as you join us, please mute your microphone so we don't hear the background noise of that could have if you don't do that. So we have been attending PD online every day, nearly in the last week and during this week. And in those PDs, the EdTech department has done a wonderful job, kudos for them, to teach us how to utilize all the tools to their full potential. You already have been contacting parents, students, assigning work to your classrooms the very same day that we knew that the students were to stay at home. I would like to congratulate you for all of you, for the amazing response and your dedication, the dedication that you have for our students and our families. So today is simply just touching base with you and talk about some considerations when we are planning in general, but planning for ELA, because that is my scope, ELA, ELD, but just planning in general. This presentation is geared to kinder second grade, but anyone that joins us is welcome because these considerations are going to be useful for anyone that participates. So some of them you probably have thought about, and some of them maybe is an area in which you would like to reflect on. All of us are new to this challenge, so be kind to yourselves. And all of us are feeling different levels of comfort in delivering remote instruction. So this is a basic agenda that I have put together. So let's cheer for all of us because together we can do it. And then let's talk about what considerations we have to think about when we are using the tech tools. And let's talk also about parent communication and student communication, because this is going to be a very important factor if we want to provide them with remote instruction. It's not the same setting, and everybody's new in this setting. But if we don't keep the communication going, we aren't going to have the impact that we wish. Let's talk about some schedules, some recommendations or some questions that you might have about the schedules. This morning in the presentation that EdTech had for questions and answers, Mr. Trump addressed some of your concerns about the schedule and how it's going to look a day. Yes, we will follow his direction, and also if you have further questions that we need to clarify, please do use your form. And let's talk about the standards, because the standards is what we need to be focusing now. And then, okay, that's how are we going to go ahead and plan. So this is it. This is the key. This is uncharted territory for all of us. And we are going to learn by doing it. But together we can. Together is the key word. And there are other two important keywords here. One is communication and the other one is collaboration. So communicate with us. Communicate your needs, communicate your concerns, communicate your frustrations, communicate your successes, communicate with your coach, with your administration, with your teams at tech and at services, with your colleagues. And maybe this is one of the best communications, communicate with your colleagues, because we can do everything alone. I mean, this morning we heard about some of our colleagues that are taking a tax. They are breaking the tax, and the one is planning for one thing, another for another thing. They are communicating. That is the way to go. And also communicate with, also communicate with your parents and your students. That is the most important thing, if I had to say. They are new to this too. Be kind to yourselves when you are trying new things, and be kind to your students and the parents, because many of our parents will need a lot of guidance. The same that the students in the lower grades, they aren't used to use so many tech tools that they are going to be using now. So this is the new normal. And then collaborate with your grade level at the school, and collaborate with all the grade levels, and at district level, collaborate with everybody that you can collaborate. Remember that there are many of our colleagues who walked the path of using technology in their instruction before. We have heard of these colleagues in our EdTech presentations. All of them are willing to help and sharing the resources and knowledge. So reach out to them and reach out to your teams. So let's start now with some considerations about the tech tools. Now is not the perfect moment to bring new tools. So if we haven't used these tools like Classroom or CISO, we are going to have to introduce things in small steps. Use the tools that you know, and that will facilitate your instruction. And think about these questions. Okay, what tech tools are my students capable of using? And we will use those first. And then little by little, we can incorporate more tech tools that are going to facilitate our instruction. Have they used CISO or Classroom before? And this is especially for lower grades, and I'm talking about kinder, because first grade and second grade actually are a little bit more independent, and they have been using tools, but the kinder classes, not everybody has the same comfort in using technological tools, and we have to start using them, because the quality instruction cannot happen with package. We have to start using these tools. So you will have all the support that you need from your coach, from your lead, your tech lead, from the EdTech, from the TOSAs. Just reach up to us. So another thing that we might have issues is, what about the parents? Do they know how to click on a link and contact us in Meet, or do they know how to help a little bit the young students? So can I guide them? Can I guide the students? Can I guide the parents? Can I make a simple step-by-step tutorial? If you cannot, just reach out to us, because you have heard during the trainings that EdTech is in the process of creating some tutorials for students and parents. And if we go to the website that they have created for instruction, remote instruction, you have plenty of small tutorials that you can send to your students, you can send to your parents too. Okay, so think about that. So as I said, parent communication is the key. If we don't contact the parents, if we don't contact our students, how do we know that they are accomplishing the learning? So when we contact the parents, let's not contact them only to say, hey, your child is not doing the task, or can you help with that? Ask them, how are you feeling? How are you feeling? Are you feeling stressed out? Are you feeling that it's too much to help your students? Are your students being too needy? And we need to build little by little independence in those students. Ask them if they can create a designated space for the students to go to school, because this is a school. This is not vacation time. Remote learning is going to be a little bit more flexible. It's not going to be so intense, but it has to be quality instruction. So they need to go to school every single day. And if they need support, we need to know. So we can maybe prepare something for the parents to give them support. And communicate the expectations. What are the expectations during this remote learning? Expectations for the students, expectations for the parents too. So I'm going to pause for a minute. So in case you have any questions so far, you can post some questions right now in your Google form. As I said before, I sent an email was sent for the Google form, but in case you didn't get the email or you joined me late, I'm going to let you know which website you can go right now to join in the form. So you should be seeing my screen right now, and now you should be seeing me. And I'm going to try to put it's bit.ly questions with capital Q, K, capital K, -2. Can you see my telephone? Okay. So if you didn't open a tab yet, please open the tab so you can ask questions right now. And again, the link is bit.ly -questions with capital Q, K, capital K, -2.
Anna, you can't put it so we can see it on the screen?
Okay, I can put it in the screen. I put it already at the beginning. But
I'm sorry, I might join late.
Yes, there we go. Okay, so now you should be seeing it there.
There.
I'm going to give you just a minute to contact. And in the same time, I'm going to check the questions. Okay, so one of the first questions is, what is the district expectations for connecting with the students and how will they be monitoring it? Okay, the expectations is that we should contact the students or connecting with the students daily. And the recommendation, and I will go a little bit talking about this in the future slides, we should contact them in the morning, and then maybe we should contact them at the end of the day to see how was the day and what were the trouble that they have. How they are going to monitor, I don't have the question because I don't know who is going to monitor and if anyone is going to monitor that, but I will ask those questions. Okay, so far, those are the questions coming. Okay, I'm seeing that some of you are having trouble with the internet and that the hotspot is probably low. Okay, this presentation is being recorded. So since it's being recorded, if you have trouble going now through the presentation, you will be able to contact the presentation through the remote instruction.
Hola, Ms. Morales.
Yes, okay. And for the colleagues that are joining, if you could mute the microphone, so we'll have the presentation, because if not, everything you said, everybody will hear it.
Okay, got it.
So maybe later you can chat among yourselves. That's going to keep us sane, okay?
Okay.
So the same that we are going to ask our parents how they are feeling, we should ask ourselves, how are you feeling? Mm-hmm. Okay.
So how are you feeling?
How are you feeling? So let's continue. So very, very important that we create a schedule for the students and we communicate the schedule to the students. We need to bring some structure in their lives. And having a schedule is going to bring that regularity that they know. Like when they are in the classroom, we always have a schedule and they know, oh, I'm going to do language arts, and then I'm going to do math, and then I'm going to do this, and they know more or less the times. So that is essential. So create a schedule in order to give them a structure. So these are some examples of schedules. It's nothing that is set on stone. You will have to create something that works for you and works for your students, but there are some kind of guidelines. Today, Mr. Tran talked about the subjects that should be taught every day. I mean, which are language arts, math, and ELD. And also, we are going to incorporate pretty soon science. Okay, but you will get more information about that. So here are two examples of schedules from colleagues from our district. The first example, as you see in here, comes from Ms. Clemente. Thank you, Ms. Clemente. I know it's good to share because you share it already. So I got this from one of the presentation of the tech team. And Ms. Clemente is a second grade teacher in Creekside, and this is kind of a weekly schedule, but this is how she started 2 weeks ago. So right now, probably she is doing something different. Now we have another schedule that Mr. Coswell was so kind to share with us. Thank you, Mr. Coswell. And as I said, please reach out to Mr. Coswell or Ms. Clemente or any other colleague that they have walked the path before. So he created this schedule for his classroom. It's just kind of an example, right? This is a schedule that I have created, and so this can be also a simple schedule. You notice that it presents language arts and math, and we can add ELD pretty soon, designated or integrated ELD as soon as possible. But if we start right now with language arts and math, I think it will be a good start. We have to start step by step and not get overwhelmed. So you can modify it to your style and the needs of your students. So as you see, it has some greetings. And when we do the greetings in the morning, we have to give them an overview of what the day is going to be, because that is going to help students to be centered and focused. Then you can assign a video and a text related to the video. But always when we assign some instructional text, we have to balance it with something that takes the students away from the screen. We can't afford to have students sitting on the screen for too long of a time. And especially for the little ones, they will get bored. And they don't want to come to the screen. And if they don't want to come to our computer, then we have a big problem. So we have to balance our instructional time with some kinesthetics and fun activities. We will talk a little bit more about that. So reading and writing is something that should happen every day in any form that you consider. You can do a read aloud, or you can do a share reading, you can do a close reading, you can do reading articles or reading books that you assign through Wonders or through Maravillas, any way you want to do the reading, and a related task. And usually the related tasks for reading are going to be some comprehension questions, or they are going to be something related to writing. And once again, if you do some assignment, just try to do something that is low-key, fun for them and relax them, like mindfulness. We have all these websites where they have, and in the presentation that I'm going to share with you, and I'm going to send it to be put in the remote instruction website. I share with you some links for all these mindful or kinesthetic activities that you can take the students, like Go Noodle or Kids Yoga or things like that. And foundational skills, don't forget, guys, that we are foundational skills grades, and it's not the same that having our students in direct instruction, phonics or phonemic awareness or guided reading. We can have that we could do a little bit mimicking it through videos. We can do modeling through videos, but it's not going to be the same. But we have to do it. We have to have reading, writing, and foundational activities every single day, because if not, our students are going to regress. So then you can have math, and in math, Kim will give you more orientation. In math, we will allocate probably 1 hour, but it's not going to be all in heavy lessons. It's going to be a little bit of lesson and a little bit of fun math activity, a little bit. She will talk to you about that. They can have a break for 1 hour for lunch. Maybe they can do a creative project that can last several days. But it's important, as you see, we aren't expecting that the students start at 8:15 and finish at 3 or 2:40. By 2, we can check out and say, hey, how is everything going? Say goodbye and highlight some of the work that they have done, because that is going to motivate them. Or we can ask questions during the checkout and see if they were able to complete the tasks independently or they were too difficult for them. So this is just a sample, as I said. If we try to congratulate the students for being on task, we highlight some of the work of the students at the end of the day, that is going to motivate them to continue completing the assignments. Okay. So in the schedule that Mr. Trump said, just to remind a little bit the guidelines that he said that we should teach 3 subjects, ELA, ELD, and math, and California Science Academy is coming pretty soon. Also that we should do 3 hours of instruction per subject per week. But this is referring to direct interaction with students. So 3 hours of direct interaction with students. And if you need more clarification about this, I will ask the questions that need to be asked. So 3 hours of instruction per subject per week of direct instruction with the students. And chunk the assignments in 2-day blocks, Monday and Tuesdays, Wednesdays and Thursdays. And we are going to leave Fridays for morning PDs, that can be district or site. And in the afternoon, it's going to be GLT collaboration and what we consider office hours, that during those office hours, we will be contacting parents with whatever needs we have, or students, or record keeping. So these are the recommendations and the guidelines of Mr. Trump as per today. Things can change, and they will most likely change because we are walking little by little in this path. The most important aspect that we need, that we have in order to focus quality instruction, is not to lose track of the standards. This is what has guided our instruction up to now. And in remote instruction, it would be very easy to get overwhelmed with all the resources that our colleagues are sharing with us, or some vendors or different websites. It's very easy to get overwhelmed with so many resources. So review the resources that are in the remote instruction website, because those resources are being provided by your colleagues that have been tried, and they say they are effective resources, and also Ed Services is putting resources there. We know that we cannot mirror the work that we were doing with our students in class, but we can focus on providing the best quality instruction aligned to essential standards. And this is the key. So there are many standards there. We have to go back to our standards, think where the students are, and say, what are those essential standards that my students need to have in order to be successful in the next grade level? Because those are our focus. And we don't know for how long are we going to be in this remote instruction mode. We hope that it's not going to be too long, but because we don't know, it will be a good idea if we can start creating a scope and a sequence. How are we tackling all those essential standards from now till the end of the school year? And remember, less is more. In lower grades, we always do integration of content areas. But we have to do it now more than ever, because we don't want to have the students all the time in the computer, and we want them to have a very good quality instruction in all the areas. So during ELA, well, we are going to assign social studies and science and socio-emotional and health through articles, through videos, and that is going to be our vehicle. And through that vehicle, they are going to practice the interpretive and productive skills. The productive skills are a little bit more challenging because, okay, well, for them to read or to view an article is easy. We can just send it through CISO, through Classroom, to produce, for them to complete a task and to produce and writing, that is kind of okay. But what about when they need to communicate with others? That is going to be a little bit more challenging, but we need to provide a venue for that, because that is part, communication and collaboration and learning from others is part of the standards that they should be learning. So I know that EdTech have many ways of communicating and collaborating. They can do it through creating some slides presentation, or maybe when you are in Meet, everybody can talk to each other, or they can have a chat, but we need to control all that. And remember that once we leave the chat is closed. So another important thing is just keep the same format when we are presenting our instruction. Formal familiarity is going to help the students not to get overwhelmed. And the same that in the classroom we have format and routines and procedures that are repeated. We have to have formats and routines and procedures here también. Here also that are repeated. So just you use CISO and you present the day in different ways, like, okay, well, at the beginning I'm going to do my greeting, and then we are going to view something, and then we are going to read, and then we are going to write, and then we are going to do some word work. So the saying, it's let's be simple and consistent, so they don't get overwhelmed with the format. And this is what I was talking about. So I feel like telling you now, guys, yes, stand up and dance and have fun. And this needs to be a balance. So instructional, physical, and emotional needs are covered. So let's keep it fun. Let's do some kinesthetic activities, and let's do quality instructional activities. Because for the little time that they are glued to the screen, it needs to be quality instruction. So now let's take a minute to breathe and a minute to ask questions. So go back to the Google form, and I can write it here in case you join us late. I'm going to insert right here the Google is bit.ly/questions with capital letter, questions, capital K-2. Okay. Make it big, bigger. Not so big. Oh, maybe that's okay. Okay, so join us in this form, and I'm going to answer some of the questions that you are posting. Okay, let me see. Okay, one of the questions is, what about if the students are not turning in work? Well, that is our challenge, really, because we have no control of what they are doing at home other than motivate them and having that communication daily with them and the parents. Because it's very easy for us to check when we monitor around and check for understanding, but now we have to provide a venue of encouraging them to continue and a venue for them to ask questions, so we see if they are understanding everything that we are pushing to them. And when will hotspots be available? I know the IT is working on that. We will communicate with you, or they will communicate with you when they are available, but I know they are working on that. So some of you is expressing that the students weren't doing the work in CISO and the parents were contacted, but still they aren't doing the work. So what can we do? Well, we have to keep trying, and we have to keep that communication open. We have to talk to the students. We have to motivate them. We have to encourage them. The same thing with the parents. We have to make them understand that this is not vacation time. This is instructional time. And we have to make them understand that they are partners in this labor. Because without them, especially with the little ones, there is not much that we can do if the students don't go to the computer to do the work. We cannot go to their homes and say, hey, you didn't do the work. You are without recess. So we have to find ways. So I guess you're... So it says that if the kids are in daycare, how they are going to access our sessions? Are we going to record all our sessions? When we push a lesson or instruction through CISO Google Classroom, usually we will have to do some video recording with instructions and with direct instruction and modeling, because they need to view that. If they are in daycare, they can meet with us in the morning. We can do some live modeling too through Meet. But if not, we have to use Screencastify to record the videos and give them some support, some scaffold there that they can watch. I mean, this, as I said, this is a challenge. It's going to be a lot of issues, and it's going to be, it's not going to be easy, but we have to start educating our parents and our students so they are going to be better in fulfilling our expectations. So the question is about video recording ourselves will count as part of the 3 hours of instruction. I believe, yeah, because that is modeling and is direct instruction to the students, but I will post that question to Mr. Trump and I will give you some clarification. Okay, thank you. Yes, continue PDs are going to be, some of you are asking if we are going to have continue PDs in CISO. Continue PDs are going to be, but also I would like to refer you to the remote instruction website, because you don't need a continue PD. All the PDs are there. I mean, for me, when I have to do Meet, I watch the PD, And if I didn't understand, and then I went and tried. Because this is the first time I do meet. And the first time I try to answer questions and create in this kind of venue of a presentation online. But I'm in the same, I'm the same that you, I'm learning as I'm doing. So what I did, I watched the PD and then I tried, it didn't work. Then I got a colleague and I said, okay, I'm going to try getting the other side. Can you hear me? Can you see me? What do you see? Can you answer my questions? Can you make more than one question? So it's just a trial and error. Well, it seems like it's working. So go back to the remote instruction website. There are tons of tutorials there. If those tutorials don't help you, for all means, contact your lead, your tech lead at the school. They can help. Contact your coach. Contact me. Contact Ed Services, the tech department. We will help you. We will get you the support you need in order to deliver your instruction. So what we should do right now is just release your tension, relax, don't stress out, because we are going to do this together. And everybody is capable. I mean, we have been doing it in kinder classrooms, so you will see step by step. Okay, so now we are going to continue with the presentation. Thank you for your questions. If I wasn't clear enough in any of them, please send me another question and I will clarify all of your concerns, doubts, or questions. Okay, I'm going to put this on present mode. So we talk about communication, daily communication. So communicating the link to the parents is very important, so they can log anytime to watch the videos that you do for modeling. But it's very important also that they communicate with you alive during video conferencing with Meet, because the children need to see you and you need to see the children. And the children need to see each other. And sometimes during video conferencing, maybe we can just open the mics and they can hear each other. They need that. They need normality in their lives, and they need communication to feel good and grounded. So consider checking in at the beginning of the day for greetings and expectations of the day, and maybe at the end of the day to celebrate accomplishments. It doesn't have to be too long. Just let the students and families know that we are here for them. And we are checking if students are able to complete the assignments, because that is another thing. If we see that they are unable to complete the assignments, we have to ask the questions why. What is the issue? So we can provide the solution. Mm-hmm. So, as I said, creating a sense of community will help our students to center themselves. It's not going to be easy to have a chat with the little ones or to open a meet with the little ones, but we can do it. Mm-hmm. We can just teach them, okay, now you have to mute your microphone, and then you know who is in there with your video conferencing, because everything appears in the screen, who is in there. So you can say, okay, yeah, and now Maria, it's your turn to talk. The same that they take turns to talk in a circle in the classroom, they can take turns to talk during the Meet video conferencing. So just remember this. When lesson planning, take it step by step. Don't get stressed out. Don't get overwhelmed. We are going to do it at the pacing that you need. And make it interesting and fun. We want students to love coming back to the computer. As I told you, we cannot control them as when they are in class. If they don't come to the computer, we don't have a way to deliver instruction, because I doubt it that we can call them every day one by one by telephone. So we have to make it interesting and fun so they come to the computer is something that they want to do. So let's take a minute for questioning. Okay, the question is, where do I send my students with IT problems? That is the IT department. It's not the EdTech. And it's not, the IT department is working with anything that is related to not working computers, broken systems. The EdTech department works with how to deliver instruction through technology. And then Ed Service in general will work with, myself, I can help you with the knowledge that I have about tools, technological tools. I can help you with IT. I cannot help you for any way. I don't know how to solve problems with the computers, but I can help you with the instructional tools because I'm using them and I used them in the past. But that is the field of EdTech services. Now, for the rest of the TOSAs, we are here for instruction. I can help you to plan lessons for ELA, to plan lessons for ELD, can help you to plan lessons for math. Also, Alex can help you with TK, and also you with cases. She will be in case you wanted to have support in there. Okay. So seems like not more new questions so far. Let's continue. So let's start with some considerations when we lesson planning. As we did in our classroom, we have to build background. We have to level the field, because if we don't level the field, how can our students complete the tasks? All of them are different. They have different needs. So when we are building the background, we can do it through sending pictures or readings or videos. And there are websites in there that they have wonderful videos to build background. When you go to this presentation, let me get out of the presenting mode and go to so you can see. If you go to my notes, in my notes, I put many resources. Like you can go to BBC, Bite-Size, TEDx, Khan Academy, National Geographic, Google Videos. They have TeacherTube. So and also don't forget about our program, our technological or technical part in our program. They have also books that you can assign and you can push, and they have videos. So those are online resources that we can get. So consider building background with a picture and an inquiry question, or with videos or articles. And every time communicate what is the task that they are expected to do when we are sending those pictures or those videos, because they need to know what is coming ahead. They don't have us there to tell us every single time, no, now we are going to do that. And if they forget, now we are going to do that. No, we have to have very clear, okay, you are going to have today this video, you're going to watch it, and then you're going to answer some questions, and after that you are going to write, okay? And if you look in your CISO, in your classroom, you have all those assignments. So we need to communicate the tasks that they need to complete regarding to whatever assignment we are doing. And modeling. This is very important. If we don't model for our little ones, they won't get it. So we can record ourselves modeling a mini lesson with Screencastify. And we can, what kind of recording? We can say, okay, it could be a mini lesson for anything. It can be phonemic awareness, it can be phonics, it can be read aloud, it can be writing or doing share writing. It's just any mini lesson that you need to do. So in mentor tests, we can also record ourselves and showing a mentor test and test, okay, this is what the final text that you are going to complete. See how this text has all these characteristics, that you have to create something like that. So mentor test is going to help them, giving them directions step by step. I mean, in all the EdTech presentations, you have, when you create the activities or the assignments, you have to have very clear directions next to it. And not only having clear directions in written, you have to videotape yourself reading it to them, because who knows who is reading those directions to them. Maybe some of our kids, they are alone in front of the computer and they don't master the decoding and the reading comprehension. So recording ourselves, modeling in videos is going to help them. It's going to provide those scaffolds that they need. Showing them how to access to the assignments, showing them how to send an assignment, highlighting student works, like I said before. I think this is going to be part of our motivating tool. Yeah, if I said, wow, look, Fernando completed this work today, well done, cheers for him. It's not only that we are encouraging them to continue instruction, is also that we are reviewing the instruction that they should have done during the day. So it has a double purpose, motivating them and reviewing the concepts. Yep. So think about the scaffolds, because they need scaffolds, and the same thing that we do scaffolds during our classroom, we can provide some scaffolds online. So sending some vocabulary cards with pictures, some visuals, some read alouds, some graphic organizers, some sentence frames, the modeling, the video modeling, all that are scaffolds. And in that way, we will ensure that we are differentiating and we are helping all of them, because the students that they used to have challenge in our classrooms, they are going to have more challenge now. So we have to think a little bit more, how are we providing scaffolds for those students that now they are practically by themselves. So when questioning, before I said less is more. We don't have to do a lot of questions. Few questions, but quality questions. Remember that we have to try to do all three types of questions: on the surface, below the surface, and deeper dive. On the surface are those questions that the book is answering. What things the student can see in the book or can read in the book, those are very on the surface questions, superficially, let's say. Not that they are needed, but it's just surface type of learning. Now, below surface, those are the inferential questions, and we have to do that. Those are the questions that the student needs to ask to themselves. Oh, okay, what do I know from the book that it doesn't say it directly there? And what do I know from my brain? What do I know before? And so it's connecting everything to do those inference. And then we have the more deeper type of questions that are, what does the author want me to learn? And those are just the questions that go in the higher level of questioning. So try to balance all of them. We don't need to do 50. We can do 3 and 1 and 1. And we will do that every day. They are doing exercising high-level thinking. And connecting to writing. I said before, it should happen every day. Reading, writing, and some kind of foundational knowledge, like phonics or phonemic awareness or word work. That should happen every day. So if they are reading, or they are viewing a video, what they are going to do with the information? Are they going to write some opinion? Are they going to write some narrative text, some informational? What they are going to do with that? So just connecting everything in integration. And this is kind of an activity that is going to provide the students with a venue to collaborate with each other and to communicate with each other. So we can assign a collaborative project. It doesn't have to be finished in one day. It may be for the whole week. It might be for 2 days. It might be for 3 days. That they can do something together. And in CISO, we can assign certain students, like in a group, in classroom, the same thing. So they need to do some collaborative work, and then provide them also the tool or the way they can communicate with each other when they are doing the project. Just think about that. So this is the tricky part. Assessment. How do we know that they are learning? How do we know? We know that formal assessments have been postponed. We know that we, at this point, we are thinking, the Ed Services is thinking, how can we have valid assessments that the students can have? Because, they are doing it at home. We don't know who is doing it for them. Are they doing it independently? Are we assessing the knowledge of the parents and the big brothers and sisters? And we need to know if they are learning. Because if we are receiving assignments that the students aren't doing them, how do we know that they are learning? They are not learning. So that is something that the conversation needs to be open. How do we check for understanding? It was easy before in the classroom. We just walk around and monitor, and we say, oops, this children is not getting it, but now we can do that. So can we have a conversation? Can we ask questions during that conversation in Meet? Can we have a phone call with the student? Can we do a Kahoots? I don't know. That is a conversation that we don't have answers, but we need to find a venue to check for understanding and to see if the students are learning, if they are doing the tasks independently or someone is doing the tasks for them. And this is one of my final slides, and I want to leave you with this thought. This is a quote by Robert John Meehan, an educator, an author, and a poet. Robert John Meehan's insight into the hearts and souls of both the teacher and the student has earned him international recognition as the voice of the teacher. So he writes a lot about the feeling of the teacher, how the communication collaboration should happen, or how the students are feeling. And so I really like these two quotes. The one on the right is just to remember that we are here for each other. And just to remember that collaboration is the key to go through this challenge. If we don't collaborate, we are going to be very overwhelmed. Okay, so the most valuable resource that all teachers have is each other. Without collaboration, our growth is limited to our own perspectives. And then I want to give you a cup of tea or cup of coffee, whatever you like to drink. And this is just to breathe and go on. We can do it. It's a challenge, but we can do it. We can support each other, and we can provide our students the best instruction possible in this new remote instructional learning. So just remember, we are not just teachers, we are the managers of the world's greatest resource, children. And with that, I think I'm going to leave you, and if you have questions, please take a minute to answer to send me your questions over in the Google form. And don't forget that we have 4 pillars when we are doing remote instruction learning. We have to communicate, we have to teach, we have to connect, and we need to assess. Okay, thank you very much. I'm going to go now to my screen so you can probably see me full face. Not that I have pretty makeup, you know what they say, no makeup needed. So I'm going to put a window here. And let's see, you can see my screen now. That wasn't the one that I wanted to do. I want to put my face in the full screen, but I don't know how to do it. Okay, that is, you will see me in the small screen right here. Thank you very much, and be safe. Take care of yourself, take care of your families, take care of our students and their families too. Because if we are stressed out, imagine how they are. Okay, big kiss, virtual kiss for everybody.